Nakabenta ki khobor ke baman kasngi subscribe yo Antor News.
Kini kilong kikor kongsan mantak kasngi. Ya ke jingilang rasa sistem ke blokad dak sarkar adalah ya borok kiseng sain partai ki badan hak sarkar MD itu lapelong hayujana bhavan sekretariat mantak sing ka pratik umlah na jemang. Ya kata jingilang la penyai dau kandat ki sangma menteri rembak ke jala bade ru chanman ke MDA. Ibakan top ya ke NPP UDP HSPDP bat langut ki MLA simen. Hati ke jingilang layatai ko rasta sistem. Kita langut ki MLA ki bedinam kan ka sarkar MDA waktu ba presiden tensong deputy chief minister ba polling do wudi no acting ke MDA bat kemencelah katana social welfare ki klempoi sya kate ke jingilang. Haba ajing kran hakilap tai khobor hadin loai ki jingilang menteri rembak ke jala kanat ke sama ulong ba resep besen polisi klam ko rasta kadai ke bom dan cimut kum ta de penterkam ko rasta sistem pentingkan ru bagi jai penreu kin yo ka baha kum la baha yaki hawi kran syu ha kate ke jinglang MDA na kaleng ukanrat ulaban ketin banyak kran ko rasta klam kta ka reception policy kam om dan cimut bat kadai ke bom ya hap satya namar ke reception kadai ke wei ki banta handrai ke reception klam ko rasta kadai ke bom dan cimut ulakan tho ya kane halor ke jing keno jong ka khanam ba ke jing kren ya korsta ka kham nakta ya reception policy ka empat biang pura habakan tu ya sarkar banyak kren ru ya reception policy ha ke jing lang jong all party meeting masalong lasai ka sing khanai tring hap un suthu ba ke korsta di ka scheme lani karkom penyaj balabu pali ha ka ban peter kampura ya reception policy yutu ukanat ke sangma Syuk kakhnam bar ko BPP kala dawa ban bisar banya thamma ya kata ka reception policy khatkum ka jingdan pajimbun pa menteri rembak ulong ka jing kren kalong ka bayar halal ka reception policy pa kalong ka ke ba amla banyak kren tangah ka jinglang tang singi bat lasai handrai kidai bandang ya piteng kini kelas ini kidai ki bolabu tik banyak keren ya korosta ban penterkam ya korosta sistem halar ki hukum jong yang kasari bat pentikna ba reception policy belawan ra ha usam si jarknes pak nyapuar lapan terkam tik kumba kalong ulong ru hadin ka jing ajing mut ba jing ajing batai hak jing lang ki MLA kinung ilam jong kanun MDA klapan i lagi jong jing so ban ajing mut bat dai ban bu jing tho ya kini ula pentip bakarai kadai kabla depsim hak wedai bakarosta sistem kadai ru ulan bangin jam sakmat ban mataginya keren habara kunun ki MLA ban pensai ki kirkom ban trekam ki bak sarkar kadai kenyat haba kelila ka MDA ka menjur nem ya karai jang kunun menteri halo karosta sistem o konrad ulong kalong kawai kasur bakimut bikilasim ya kimat kebala suthu bat yak balayar ru iki katuk ani kimat kiba kedo kidong dan sibun kijing artatin kemba ong bak sarka kala persang membatai ban pesotu ik paiba ni kalong ka ba pat ban pesang ya ka ka ba kiyatu kemba kalong hakijing lang kan amdan jementoy ya nu yunuru le ka sulong bahaba ka reception karusta ka dairu bandan le kidai banbu dak sarkar India kayeng kasir Supreme Court namar kata kami klia kahap mempeterkam ya karosta sistem naruk si benkong kumba labu da ka Supreme Court kumba ukanda ru omba karosta kal ailat ya kanu kakam balamang saknu ka jep benreu kan lebe thik tang sakta ka jep benreu tu ukanda
that we had given to the cabinet yesterday. We have given the same presentation today to the MLAs of the MDA, and of course, as I had mentioned earlier, also that the entire concept of roster system is complicated in nature, and hence they had a lot of queries, and we have tried to clarify as much as possible, and to a large extent they have been able to grasp in the points, and whatever queries they had, we have tried to clarify those queries. And tomorrow we'll continue the meetings, and we'll be meeting all parties. And once we have that discussion, then we'll be having a press conference after that meeting.
Any views or suggestions from the MLA, sir?
Yes, they have given their views and suggestions, and we've noted them down.
So when likely the government will take a final decision on this?
No, the decision is actually taken, and this is the line that we are moving forward in. And now we are reaching out to all the stakeholders and MLAs and explaining to them that what the system that the government is following.
So a political party like NAM today has stated in their statement that discussing the rooster without touching the reservation is pointless. What do you have to say, sir?
No, that's not correct, because reservation is a different subject, but a roster without a reservation without a roster is meaningless. But talking about reservation, talking about roster and not touching reservation is not going to make any sense. That's not correct at all. You have to understand what a roster is. The roster is basically a scheme or a process or a schedule to implement the reservation policy in letter and spirit. Now what that means, so let me start explaining so that all of you are also on board. What reservation does is that it allows certain reservations in certain categories. Now these reservations, then when the posts are advertised, then the reservation policy is applied. Now in the past, what used to happen, if there were 10 vacancies that used to be vacancies were advertised, the reservation policy would apply 4-4-1-1, or whatever the ratio is. Now in the absence of a roster system, then when the next 10 positions would come out, or 2 or 3 positions would come out, again the reservation policy would apply in the 4-4.5 and 1 version, 1.5. Now when the reservation comes in, it actually charts out and prepares a schedule of which category, which post will go to which category. So if the reservation comes out tomorrow, a roster comes out tomorrow for reservation, it'll plot exactly that position number 1 is meant for unreserved, position number 2 is for Khasi Jintia, position number 3 is for Garo, position number 4 will be for Khasi Jintia, position number 5 will be for Garo, position number 6 will be for Khasi Jintia. It plots those points in the sense that tomorrow if there is an appointment or an interview call for 3 posts, that means there will be 1 post for unreserved, 1 for Khasi and 1 for Garo. That's what a roster does. Now if the 4th position comes out tomorrow for interview, so number 1, number 2, number 3 is done. The number 4 position is for a Khasi. Hence the advertisement will say 1 LDA post for a Khasi category. If again after a year 1 more post comes out, that's number 5 position, that's meant for a Garo. And hence the advertisement will say LDA position for a Garo. So roster system allows the implementation of a reservation policy in letter and spirit, and allows the exact schedule of the post to be appointed. That's what a roster is. And hence a roster, a reservation policy without a roster will not implement the reservation policy in true letter and spirit. But it's the question of discussing reservation policy is completely different subject. So I mean, I'm trying to explain to you, it's complicated. I'm sure that when you see the chart tomorrow, you'll be able to understand the concept. It's a different subject. That is an issue that can be discussed, may be discussed, that we are not talking about as of now. As of now, the subject in front of us is the roster system and implementation of that. So hence we are taking that first part and we are trying to resolve that issue, because that is something that is mandated by the High Court. The broader discussion on reservation policy is something that is not going to be discussed in this yesterday or today or tomorrow. So these 3 days have been specifically kept for roster system, to implement the roster system in view of the court order, and to ensure that the reservation policy which was made in 1972 is implemented in letter and spirit.
So MDA is unanimous in your view, in the vision of the cabinet?
Yeah, so it is unanimous in the sense that they have taken the points, they have understood it, they have appreciated what the different points we've made. They have still a lot of doubts, because as I said, I tried to explain some points. You can understand it's complicated. So it's much more complicated than what I told you just now. So there are many scenarios that will develop through that, many complications. So all those things were explained to them. So whatever they could grasp at that point in time, I'm sure that they have found it quite satisfactory. But they have a lot of questions. They have said that please allow us to absorb what has been just shown to us. A lot of information was shown, and they have said that when we'll discuss it, and we'll, if necessary, if you have more doubts, we'll come back. So then some it'll be a 10-point roster, some points it'll be 20-point roster, some cadres it'll be 100-point roster. In some concerns, some areas it'll be even a 200+ point roster system. So that's why every cadre and the strength of the cadre will determine the roster points.
And from which year will it be implemented?
No, as I said, it's a continuous process, and we'll explain this to you tomorrow.
So there are lots of the appointments being made, and it is being circulated in social media, pointing out that the other groups are getting more.
As I said, everything is being done on the basis of the roster and the reservation policy. So we're very, very clear on that, and it's a simple formula that's being followed. I've been telling everybody now. For example, I can't explain this if I don't have a chart. But as I said, if position number 4, say suppose, was meant for a Khasi community, position number 5 was meant for Garo community, position number 6 was meant for Khasi community. Just be with me. So 4, 5 and 6. 4 for Khasis, 5 for Garos, and 6 for Khasi. Now suppose we have reached point number 3, and there are 3 posts going to be identified. The advertisement will say 2 posts for Khasis, 1 for Garo. Now tomorrow somebody can come and tell me, well, why are they getting more? Because that's what the roster is. That's what the system is. It puts into place certain points that are there, which are meant for certain communities, and that's how it happens. Advantage to any person. It is just that when reservation is there, a roster has to be there. It is what is mandated by Government of India and Supreme Court. And hence, Meghalaya should have implemented the roster system from day one. Because as I said, the roster system allows a particular post which is meant for a certain community to go to that community. So as I said, now try to be with me out here, and I'll try to explain to you. If the other scheduled tribes and other scheduled castes which have 5% reservation, if you look at a 100-point roster, 5% means 5 posts will go to them in 100 posts. Are you with me? So 5 posts will go in 100 posts. 5 posts will go to other tribes and other scheduled tribes and other scheduled caste, which means every 20th post, post number 20, post number 40, post number 60, and post number 80 and post number 100 will be for other scheduled tribes and other scheduled caste. Now, if the roster system is not present, we will keep repeating 40, 40, 15, 20, and it will keep going in the system. Now tomorrow, if we have finished 19 recruitments and there is 1 post that comes out for the 20th one and said 1 post, what will that advertisement say? It will say 1 LDA post for other scheduled tribe and other scheduled caste. It will not say Khasi, it will not say Garo, it will not say UR. Because it is meant, the roster has set a system and a schedule for the other scheduled caste, other tribe, to get that post on the 20th post that comes out. That is what roster is. So it's not meant to give any benefit to anybody. It is meant to ensure that reservation policy is implemented in letter and spirit. That is what it is.
Tomorrow, a lot of people's gathering will be there. So what are the measures to prevent any?
Oh, I mean, whatever necessary measures, I'm sure the Home Department and the Deputy Commissioner and others will take measures.